Is there ever a point at which you give up on a game? Yes. Yes, there is.
Long jump again, my precious. Come.
What in the world? Are you kidding me?
Do delays always equal better games? Well, not always. As you can see, Lord of the Rings Gollum was delayed twice. The first warning sign that things might be a little rough is obviously game delays. They hurt, not gonna lie. Albeit you care about this game, in a post-Cyberpunk 2077 world, delays are more accepted these days. Comments of most delayed games range from, well, this sucks, to, yeah, keep baking it in the oven a little bit more. We're willing to have a delayed game more than rushing a mediocre game. So when you look at Lord of the Rings Gollum, this thing was delayed twice, and what does that have to show for it? The first point I'd like to make in considering if a game is worth giving up on is think about it. If this were an indie game, then we would be a lot more forgiving of the Lord of the Rings Gollum. But no, this is a AAA game, and it is priced as such. When you really look at this game, and you can just take a look at the graphics, just in general, these graphics are about 2 generations old. One question you really have to ask is, was there any competitive analysis done when looking at this game compared to other games in its genre, in its year of release? This doesn't even look like a PS5 Xbox Series X game. It looks like a PS2 original Xbox game. It's actually really sad to see, and I know this is a movie to game comparison, but Gollum in 2003 looked 10 times better than the Gollum of 2023. And I will say with an asterisk that I know films have millions of dollars of budget, and Daedalic had no way near the budget of that. But again, you could at least make your game at least look current gen. Another point that the devs should have done, and just think about it, was when you look at things you're charging for, such as charging extra for the emotes pack. I'm actually going to read you the descriptions of these things. This pack includes 6 iconic emotes inspired by the character Gollum, which you can use to proclaim, "My precious," and express the emotions in the game whenever you want. They also charge for the Elvish language. The Sindarin VO DLC adds even more authenticity to the game experience by having the elves speak in Sindarin, the Elvish language created by J.R.R. Tolkien. They also charge extra for the lore. As you progress, this interactive menu gives you more and more key information about the game's features, locations, and events, in addition to the history of Middle-earth. Now, this stuff is not the only stuff that they are charging extra for, but think about it, devs. Come on, Daedalic. This went through the approval process, and no one thought this was a bad idea. No? This is stuff, if you look at other games around, that this comes in the base game with nearly all other games. Why was this a good idea to charge extra for features like this? This could have been made better if the developers would have asked themselves, is it worth it to sell all this stuff separately? Apparently not. This game looks like it could be even buggier than some of Bethesda's games.
Don't tell me what to do. I can go wherever I want. I'm the dragon.
Don't get me wrong, bugs can be funny, but Bethesda actually uses its bugs as kind of an expectation for some of the games for humor. And Bethesda actually does way more good than it does bad. So the bugs, albeit they're they're also overshadowed by the good that Bethesda does. If you look at Skyrim, it is one of the best games of the last 15 years that we've ever played. It came out in 2011, and this game has sold on 3 consoles, just like GTA 5. And yeah, sure, it's buggy, but like, you know, it makes up for it in many other ways. Fallout 76.
I read on the internet that our games have had a few bugs.
Well, let's not talk about that one. It's crazy to me that the company Daedalic issued an apology letter without actually doing any corrective action on their part. Was the apology planned? And that's what it seems like. It was released the day after it was released, May 26, 2023. Admittedly, they didn't meet expectations that they set for themselves. All I'm gonna say is actions speak louder than words. If you're issuing an apology for something you pretty much knew was a thing, then why don't you lower the cost of the game? At least that'll soften the blow. Even at even at that too, you why don't you include the DLC that you're charging separately for? The answer is, ladies and gentlemen, that this game definitely should have been given up on. I would very much be surprised if it sold even 1,000 copies of the game with how bad it is. I mean, even if you're a die-hard Lord of the Rings fan, this is just not a good game to buy. I mean, you can check out reviews of this game, and the vast majority of people are going to say, don't even waste your time with this game. I haven't even touched how the mission structure is set up. I mean, just go do yourself a favor. Some of these reviews are actually pretty funny with how bad they are. Was anyone here, and go ahead and raise your hand if you were, asking for a story set between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings on how Gollum made his way from where he was in The Hobbit to where he was in The Lord of the Rings? Comment below, let me know. And do you agree? Should this game have been scrapped? Did it maybe need more polish? Personally, I think the whole thing could have used a whole new thing. I mean, let's take a look at Metroid Prime 4. I mean, we don't hear anything about that anymore, but I mean, the whole Nintendo itself wasn't afraid to just scrap the entire thing. Personally, on that, I think it's Metroid Prime 4, as much of a fan of Metroid as I am, I think it's going to have a really hard time justifying its existence. It's going to take a lot for that game to justify its existence in the way that Top Gun Maverick did, and even blew away the original. So, we'll see. Who knows? Comment below, let me know your opinions, and if you want to see how a game delay was done really well, you can click right here.